Hey everyone, welcome to another video. So for today's episode, we're going to be testing out what I call a more meta version of the Mermail deck. So when I look at lists online, what people play in tournaments, obviously everyone in the tournaments, they got to run the hand traps. So triple Ash, double Max C. We're going to keep our Call by the Graves in here. We're going to keep our double Imperms. But one combo I see a lot of people include is the Deskbot combo. So if you're able to make Hulk of Fibrax any way at all, and you can get Deskbot out of your deck, and there's a combo that basically lets you make an end board with Borreload and Herald of the Arclight. So that's pretty strong. I understand why a lot of people run it. It does require us to give up 3 extra deck slots because you need to play Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon, and you need to play Borreload, and you need to play Herald. Now, it is a strong combo, so we're going to test it out today. We'll see how people react. One thing I will say is pretty much everyone knows about this combo because it's like the simplest Hulk of Fibrax combo and it fits into any deck. It's just very generic. All you need to do is put a copy of Deskbot in. If you can get a tuner and two monsters on the field, one of them a tuner, you can make Hulk and you can do this. So it's pretty easy to slot in any deck. So everyone knows about it, and because everyone knows about it, people know how to interact with it. If you're being predictable, people, they can predict you. They know what you're going to do. They can stop you. But we'll try it out. We'll see how it does in the tier list today. If you're liking these videos, please consider subscribing. All right, well, let's get on to the games. All right, we got game 1 versus Kaiser L. We're going to go first here. We're going to summon our heavy infantry. They're going to get Maxi, and we're going to get Ashen, although this would only give them 1 card, so arguably may not want to Ash here. Our hand's a bit slow. The plan here is just we're going to make Abyss Lilicia and pass with Ice Bear on the field. So arguably we could have saved our Ash to interact with them on their turn, since this is only going to give them 1 card, but I went for the Ash. Probably a mistake, but we'll see. At least a trade it for 1 card. So make Abyss Lilicia here and set our Ice Barrier and get passing. See what our opponent's got. Opponent's gonna play Upstart Goblin, that's just a free draw. Opponent's gonna play Zoodiac and go into Trident. So the Zoodiac monster they played here was Zoodiac Bunny Blast. So this will prevent spell cards from being targeting this, so that's not going to matter. We don't have a targeting spell card. Yeah, he's going to go into Trident here. Trident's going to pop 1 card on the field. He's going to pop Abyss Lilicia. Is that the correct play? Hard to say. I probably would have popped the trap if I were them. Pop an Abyss Lilicia, well, you'll see what happens. We're going to send Heavy to the graveyard. He's going to activate Skullmeister. This is a bit early, so the Skullmeister is going to negate a card in the graveyard. And right now, the effect that's activating is Abyss Lilicia's effect to special summon. So he's going to negate the special summon. The only monster we had in graveyard to special summon was Heavy. So Heavy's going to activate on discard. We're going to pop the Trident. They got nothing. Now, unfortunately, we don't get to activate our Ice Barrier. It's a little annoying. We draw Maxi. Maxi not going to do much. We're going to normal summon Abyss Gun, which is not a strong starter play. Opponent, very excited. Going to activate Maxi. Not going to get any cards out of that. Get attacking for 14. Pass. We're kind of hoping this Ice Barrier ends up in the graveyard so we can banish it. Opponent is going to happily comply. We're going to Max C on a Zoodiac Thoroughblade. If he were to Zoodiac Chain Summon now, we're going to draw a billion cards, so he's not going to do that. He's going to get attacking. We're going to get Ice Barrier and drop his attack to 0. Teach ya how to mess with gun. You don't mess with the gun. Alright, now we got the Ice Barrier in the graveyard. We can at any time activate to search, send a level 5 or higher water monster to the graveyard, and add a water monster from our graveyard to our hand. So we could add Heavy, we could add Abyss Lilicia. Alright, let's get drawn, see what we get. We get a Prince here. This is excellent. Prince will let us do starter plays. We can send, get Lapis Dragon on field, make the Hulk of Fibrax, get 2 negates. Now we haven't activated Ice Barrier at any. If we ever activate Ice Barrier, we are locked into waters for the rest of the turn. So we're going to activate Prince, get Sending Dragoons, add Dragoons to hand. Dragoons in the graveyard is going to activate. He is going to activate Droll and Lockbird. This is going to stop us from adding any more cards to the hand. So that's a little unfortunate. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to chain our Ice Barrier Ice Bear gonna chain, get in ahead of that draw and lock board. We'll be able to add a card to hand. So we're gonna add. Well, we're gonna take a look at our graveyard here because you know counting is pretty hard. So we're gonna take a look. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 water monsters in the graveyard. Wow, interesting. 5 water monsters in the graveyard. What could that mean? We're gonna add Mullen Glacier to hand. Get in before the draw and lock bird activates. With exactly 5 water monsters in the graveyard, we can activate Mullen Glacier's effect. A special summon itself. Discard that last card out of their hand. And now this is interesting. With 5,200 life points remaining, we should be able to get lethal here. We're gonna special summon Marincess Coral. Marincess Coral gonna let us special summon from the graveyard. We're gonna special summon our Abyssgund. Look at that. Abyssgund putting in work here. Who knew normal summon Abyssgund was the strongest play in Mermails? Not me. Let's get attacking. Let's get lethalizing. Get him with the Mullen Glacier. Alright, that's Zoodiac's defeated. Let's check out our opponent's deck list. Alright, opponent's running so many hand traps. This deck is almost 50% hand traps. Let's just quickly take a look here. We got DD Crow, we got Draw Lockbird, we got Triple Maxi, we got Triple Ash, we got Triple Skullmeister, Zoodiac Bunny Blast. This is the Zoodiac part of the deck here. We got Bunny Blast, Whiptail, Thoroughblade, Ram. Got 2 Nibiru's. 2 Nibiru's. That's pretty good. Going second. Got a Feather Duster Monster Reborn Upstart. That's just a free roll card. Basically, draw a card there. 4 pots. We got a Pot of Avarice, 3 Pot of Desires. I guess you could recycle all your hand traps. If you got this many hand traps, you're going to have a lot of cards in the graveyard. Pot of Avarice is going to be live. They got a Lightning Storm, and they got triple Fire Formation Tenki to search. They also have one called and triple Imperm. So 1, 2, 3 Imperms, 4, 5 Nibiru, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 hand traps. So that is pretty much 50% hand traps in the deck. Pretty crazy. Extra deck's pretty standard Zoodiac fare. Just got a billion Zoodiac monsters. Got our Zeus, of course. And a Infinitrack Fortress. Unaffected by other monsters' effects. So I guess that's a good thing to go into if you end up with a bunch of monsters on field. Alright, well, quite an oppressive deck, but glad we beat it. Pure Zoodiacs. Alright, let's go on to the next game. Alright, we are up against Japanese name that I do not know how to read. We're going to activate Foolish Burial Goods. This is bait for Ash. I always activate Foolish first if I have Diva in hand. Because Foolish, people don't know what you're playing. They'll usually Ash the Foolish. We'll send Ice Barrier to the graveyard so that we have a search for it later. We're going to activate our Deep Sea Diva. Get Prince. Prince going to activate. Now, this is where we're trying out the new combo. So usually, when I get Diva, get Neptibus, I have kind of a standard combo. We make Toad, we make him discard 2 cards. Now, it's a little vulnerable to Nibiru. So now, seeing a lot of Nibirus, this is where the combo is a bit different. So Prince going to send Dragoons, add Dragoons of course. Dragoons in graveyard are going to activate. The card we're going to add to hand is Deep Sea Minstrel. So we only have 2 summons right now, Nibiru not live. What we're going to do is activate Minstrel, check out their hand, discard if they have a Nibiru, we get rid of it. And then we can do the combo with Hulk of Fibrax to end with Borreload and the Herald of Arclight. This combo will still let us discard 2 cards with the Mullen Glacier, because we're going to search Mullen Glacier, but it is not vulnerable to Nibiru. So we're going to activate, take a look at their hand here. Looks like they're playing Madolches, so sorry opponent. No hand traps, no Nibiru, but these Madolches are not going to fare well against this. We'll banish a random Madolche from their hand. Get searching, get our Mullen Glacier. We're going to special summon Hulk of Fibrax. This is our third summon, sorry, and our 4th summon with the Deskbot, but we already know they don't have a Nibiru. If they had it, we've already ripped it from their hand. So now we get the Deskbot, and we're going to activate Mullen Glacier, discard 2 cards, and they're going to lose their Madolche Angeli and their Madolche Mageline. So we're going to go into Auroradon here. Auroradon going to special summon the tokens. The Deskbot's going to come back from the graveyard. We're going to be able to activate the auroradon's effect, search our deck for the O-Lion, then we're going to synchro summon twice. We can make in our extra deck here, we're going to make the Borreload Savage Dragon and the Herald of the Arclight, which will give us 2 negates. We attach our auroradon to the Borreload. We'll give him, I believe, 3 Boral counters. And that will equip a link monster, place a Boral counter equal to the link rating. Yeah, that'll give him 3 Boral counters, and we'll have 2 negates. They have 2 cards left, and we still have the Imperm, we still have the Ash, so that's pretty strong. Our opponent is not going to like this. They're going to recognize what's happening here. Auroradon's going to summon itself, make the tokens, and opponent has had enough. That's Madolche's getting their desserts here. Alright, let's check out our opponent's deck list. Alright, opponent is playing 2 Herald of the Orange Light. Interesting. Activate this on an opponent's turn. They're going to think you're playing some Drytrons, and they may just give up. We got a Ghost Mourner. This is one of the hand traps. I do not know what this one does. If your opponent special summons a monster face up, you can discard, target a face up monster, and negates effects until the end of turn. Interesting. So this is kind of like an Imperm. This is kind of like another Imperm or an effect failure. Also, if that face-up monster leaves the field this turn, its control takes damage equal to its original attack. Huh, interesting. I'm surprised people don't play this one as much, since Imperm's pretty strong. I guess, yeah, I don't know, I guess it only activates on special summon, whereas Imperm, you can activate at any time they have a monster, so it's a little less flexible. Interesting the opponent's playing this over another copy of Imperm. All these ghost hand traps are URs, so there's no cost savings there. Opponent's got 2 Madolche Hoot Cake. I don't know how Madolches work, but got 2 Magdalenes. I'm not going to try and say the rest of these names, they're a bit too silly. 3 Pots. Got Triple Tactics Talent card I don't see very often. Kind of a modal card that lets you either draw 2, take control of a monster, or rip a card from an opponent's hand. Got a Lightning Storm. Got some Sword Soul. Interesting. During the main phase of a monster whose effects are negated is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. If your opponent special summons a monster except during the damage step, you can activate one of these effects based on where it was special summoned from. Hand, special summon a monster from your hand. Deck, draw 2 cards. Extra deck, destroy one of those monsters. Interesting. Very interesting. So I'm guessing with all these, this Moonlit Chill and the Imperms and the Heralds, it might be possible to activate this. Kind of unique. Never seen that before. Got a copy of Red Reboot. When your opponent activates a trap card, negate the activation. If you do set that card face down, then they can set one other trap directly from their deck. For the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate trap cards. You can activate this card from your hand by paying half your life points. So this will negate a trap card activation. Not sure if what trap cards they're worried about, but interesting. So negate another Imperm. They got 1 Forbidden Droplet, 2 Call by the Graves. Extra deck looks like some Madolches, some other rank 4s, some standard Synchro Fair, and some Madolche Link monsters. Nice that they got some support. Alright, interesting deck. Let's go on to the next game. Alright, we got an interesting hand here going first. We can use our Heavy Infantry to get another normal summon. We can use 1 for 1. And we got Foolish Barrel Goods to send our Ice Barrier Trap to the graveyard. Also got some protection with Ash here. So let's get going second. See, I gotta pay more attention. Clearly going second here. Looks like our opponent's playing Eldlitch. Eldlitch gonna activate to search for a Eldlitch card. We're gonna negate the activation with our Ash Blossom. No searching for you, Eldlitch. Get negated. Eldlitch is going to set 3, of course. Classic Eldlitch. Alright, let's get drawn. We draw another Dragoons here. Now, we're going to get activated, and we don't know what that's the last card in their hand is, but if they're playing an Ash, they probably would negate that, so no negation. We're going to activate Ice Barriers. We are locked into waters for the rest of this turn. Get our Teus to hand. Teus going to activate, summon itself, ditching the Dragoons. Opponent's going to Solemn Strike the Teus. Teus get negated. Dragoon's still going to activate in the graveyard. Dragoon's going to activate. in the graveyard. Opponent's got another Solemn. Solemn gonna negate the Dragoons. Opponent's paying a lot of life points though. A lot of life points been paid. We're gonna activate our 1-for-1, dishing our heavy infantry. We have not used our normal summon. Neptibus gonna special summon, activate, send Dragoons. Opponent's gonna activate Eldlitch. This is gonna summon an Eldlitch monster, aka Eldlitch the Golden Lord, in defense position. Prince gonna search for the heavy to hand. We're gonna activate our Dragoons. We're gonna get a Mulan Glacia here. Mulan Glacia gonna special summon after we clear our field. Sorry, excuse me. We need exactly 5 water monsters in the graveyard. We had 4, so special summon in the Marincess Coral gives us 6. Gonna remove 1 monster from the graveyard here, get our Prince back. Now we can Mulan Glacia, rip that last card from his hand. And opponent's gonna concede. Alright, well, I don't know if a concession was necessary there. We were gonna be able to attack through his Eldritch by special summoning a Mr. Boy. Now, it was likely correct, instead of searching for Mulan Glacia there, to search for Abyss Megalo. Abyss Megalo would have let us discard the 2 cards in hand. We could have discarded our heavy, popped the Eldritch on field, and we would have been able to attack for lethal through the empty field, basically. So if I was paying attention, that would have probably been a better line, but luckily our opponent gave up once we ripped his last Eldritch card from hand. So that's all good. But making Miss Starboy would have allowed us to increase our attack points, get through, get some damage in, and we would have had 1 more turn against Eldritch. But happy the opponent gives up. Let's check out their deck list. Alright, opponent's got triple Maxi, triple Ash, triple Eldritch the Golden Lord. Very standard Eldritch fare here. Got double Call by the Grave, got a more Eldritch cards, obviously the triple skill drain. Solemn Judgment, Imperial Order negates spells, Vanity's Emptiness to prevent players from special summoning. 1 Conquistador, 3 Hekaro. Now, this is actually a future-proof deck. Once Konami sends out their ban list, this card's being limited to 1, so this Eldritch player does not care. Their deck list is already ready. They got Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. They got random cards in their extra deck here. Got some Nightmare Unicorns. Got some Accessco Talkers. Very interesting. Very interesting. Alright. Well, that's the Eldritch deck. Let's do 1 more game. Alright, we got an interesting hand here. We're going to be able to take a look at their hand with Deep Sea Minstrel discarding Fishborg. Fortunately, opponent's going first. They're going to set 3 pass. Let's get drawn. Alright, let's take a look at opponent's hand here. Activate the Minstrel. Take a peek. Looks like I got Lightning Storm and Ash. Of course, we're going to take that Ash. And we're going to play around this Lightning Storm if we can. Ash is out of the way. No idea what these 3 trap cards are. We're going to activate our Fishborg in the graveyard. Opponent in response is going to activate Summon Limit. Neither player can summon more than 2 times per turn. Alright, well, we're going to have to get rid of that. Fishborg going to special summon itself. We're going to activate our Deep Sea Aria. Now, normally we'd like to search for Diva here, but because we're locked in Summon Limit, we need to clear this. So we're going to search for Prince. Normal summon Prince here. Activate, send a Heavy to the graveyard. Add 8 Dragoons to hand. Heavy going to pop this Summon Limit. No limit on Mermails. Get special summon in. We're going to make a Bislacia here now. We could have made Hulk of 5Rex and tried to combo made Negates, but Buddy's got 2 set cards. We know one of these is going to disrupt us. If we make Hulk of 5Rex here, Hulk of 5Rex gets popped. We're going to be left with what? A Deskbot on field? That's not ideal. Alright, so let's get making a Bislacia. If this gets popped, we get a send as cost from the deck and a special summon of a water monster from the graveyard. Let's get battling. Opponent's going to activate Ring of Destruction. Luckily, we didn't make Hulk of 5Rex. That would have messed up our day. Bislacia going to get popped. Going to deal 16 damage to themselves. Bislacia going to activate in the graveyard, sending a Dragoons as cost. This will let us search for a Sea Serpent. And we're going to special summon Heavy to field. This will give us another normal summon. We're going to add Diva to hand. Now we can still Diva. We got another normal summon. Diva can be normal summon still. Main phase 2. Let's get additional normal summoning. Diva going to activate. Search for a Deep Sea Minstrel. We're summoning these in defense mode. We know about their spell. We don't know what this last card is. We know that their spell in hand is going to pop all our face-up attack position monsters. We're going to activate Deep Sea Minstrel's effect. It sends 3 to the graveyard at random from the top, and you return 1 card from your graveyard to your deck. Now, we didn't hit anything. Sometimes you can hit a search. You hit a Dragoons or something, you can hit a search there, but we didn't. Unfortunately, we didn't hit that. Let's take a look what we sent. Mullen Glacia, 1/1 Deep Sea Diva. We're going to put the Deep Sea Diva back on top of our deck. We're locked in on Mullen Glacia, but he's probably past his usefulness anyway. We can put Diva on top, and then next turn, we'll be able to draw it, obviously, and activate our normal summon our Diva for turn. So let's get Special Summon Herald of the Arclight. We don't want to mess up our deck anymore. This will give us a negate, whatever this trap card is. We know his 1 card in hand. We got Ash. We got Imperm. So we got a lot of ways to negate stuff. Where if he's got some sort of combo lined up, we can stop that. So Herald will let us provide 1 more negate. Opponent's going to activate Solemn Judgment. Negate the summon of our Herald. So we're 1 negate down. They get back their Ash, but that's fine. We can play around Ash. Opponent's going to get drawn. Now, they got 1 mystery card. They got a Lightning Storm, which they're going to use right now. Pop our back row. They got 1 mystery card still, and that mystery card is this set card, so likely some trap. Now let's get rid of this Ash out of their hand here. Activate Deep Sea Aria. We don't need this search. They're going to Ash. They don't know what we're doing. They're going to get Ashen. We don't need this search. This is a bait. Let's get normal summoning our Diva here. Get summoning that Neptibus. Neptibus going to activate, send Dragoons, add the Heavy to hand. We're out of Dragoons to search. Dragoons going to activate, add a Abyss Megalo to hand. So now we got monsters on field we can make plays with. Now we're going to go for a Hulk Fibrex line. If they disrupt it, we can special summon Megalo and just get attacks for lethal. Let's get special summoning. Hulk Fibrex on field. We're going to activate search. Opponent's going to respond. Bring a destruction. Now, we're going to search for Deskbot, but now that we know that this is getting popped, there's no reason to. So we'll search for a Deep Sea Minstrel here. And we're going to activate Megalo. Now, if our opponent still had plays left, we can use our Megalo and our Deep Sea Minstrel to make a Baron de Fleur. We could have popped something. We get an Omni Negate. We still got Ash in hand, but this is more than lethal, so let's just respect our opponent and get attacking. Get a search. We don't need this search, but we could search Lapis Dragon summon itself. Just flexing at this point. All right, get attacking. All right, good final game. So let's check out our opponent's deck list. Let's talk about what my thoughts are on this modified version of the deck. All right, opponent's playing. I don't know what this is. Card D, Des Koala, Marshmallow, Ash Blossom, Self-Destruct Ant. This is Volcanic Queen. This is some wackiness. I'm guessing this is like Volcanic Queen. Is this like a burn? It got a single Time Lord, 1,000 damage. So this is like some sort of weird burn deck, like prison burn. Their win conditions, I guess, to burn us out. Try and yeah, Secret Blast. They're gonna try and stop the opponent from summoning. You don't need an extra deck. What are you doing? You got Marshmallow. Who needs an extra deck when you got Marshmallow? All right, interesting. So let's go back to the deck and let's talk about our thoughts here. All right. So I played a few games. Max C almost always gets negated. I've never really. I mean, we had that game against Zoodiac where it stopped them from summoning. So in a sense, sometimes it stops your opponent from doing stuff. So Max C is okay. Although often, like, if players are smart, they don't play in a Max C, so they either negate it or you get maybe 1 card max out of it. It's hardly, like, it's very oppressive when against us because we're kind of a combo deck, but a lot of other decks don't seem to mind getting Max C. They seem to be able to stop it most of the time, so Max C's okay. I wouldn't be opposed to switching Max C out for something else. maybe more copies of Imperm, or maybe another hand trap like Draw and Lockbird or something like that. The Deskbot combo is pretty strong, letting us go into auroradon. If we can make, because I think often it's easy to get Hulk, and without this Deskbot, there's no combo that we can do with just Hulk that's very strong. But with Deskbot, a Hulk of Fibrax turns into 2 Negates, turns into Borreload and a Herald. So I think the one Deskbot in the deck, it's a brick if you draw it, but honestly, it's probably worthwhile. You do have to obviously have the Mecha Phantom Beast line in the deck as well. So our brick count has gone up by 2 to make this combo function, but honestly, it's probably worthwhile. It's probably worthwhile to include. The hand traps, I mean, Ash is really good. The other advantage of playing the Deskbot is now with Ash in the deck, uh, if we have Ash in graveyard, our fish board can't summon himself from the graveyard. So with Deskbot, it's easier to play Ash because you know you still have a line that you can go into with Hulk of Fibrax. Our extra deck's really squished now. To keep in the combo with Trishula, to keep in the combo to rip 3 cards from our opponent's hand, to keep our Toad and our Ahashima, like there's like our only flex slot is Crocodile. We got Crocodile as our flex slot. We got Abyss Lacia technically as a flex slot, although I don't think I would ever cut this card. It's so easy to make if we get trapped. Now, because we're still playing Ice Barrier, Foolish Barrier Goods, we do still get locked into water sometimes. So having options when you're locked into waters is really strong. I think it's worthwhile. So this deck doesn't have a lot of flexibility in the extra deck at all. Maybe we could cut Crocodile for something else, but we do want to have something to go into when we're going into water. So, so yeah. The line where we play around Nibiru with Deep Sea Minstrel is quite strong. So I do quite like that. Honestly, I feel that this version of the deck is stronger than the version I played in my rank up. So going forward, if you want to make a very competitive version of this deck, I think something like this, closer to this, is probably going to be more competitive. A lot more interaction during the opponent's turn if you're going second. So that's always fun. So yeah, I enjoyed the gameplay today. It was interesting to play with a kind of more a standard version of Mermails, not the pure water version. So that was always fun. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. And if you got any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. All right, have a good night.